it kills me because the Browns did what I've wanted the Lions to do for a long time. Not this offseason, but several years ago. They tanked properly. They hit on draft picks. They had a rebuild that they mostly did the right way. And it became a playoff team and a team that people thought could contend for a Super Bowl in the near future. Actually, I think 2 years ago, the Browns were a trendy Super Bowl pick, like a dark horse team. They did everything the right way for the most part, and then they just completely tanked it. And they tanked it over a guy that's not that good. I don't, like, so many people think, listen, I know people disagree with me on this, but Deshaun Watson is not an Aaron Rodgers level quarterback. He's not a Matt Stafford level quarterback. He's not a Tom Brady level quarterback. He's not a Drew Brees from 5 years ago level quarterback. That's not him. Okay, he's like a little bit better than Dak Prescott level quarterback with less leadership quality than Dak Prescott has. Like that's the boat that he's in. So to sacrifice all the goodwill in the world, all the draft capital in the world, all the assets in the world, and possibly an entire season of your window, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I am rooting for failure. I am rooting for this to blow up in the most catastrophic way imaginable.
Course.
Like, it is a soap opera, and it's hilarious to me. Not, obviously, I'm not talking about what happened. I can't control what happened. And whatever happened is in the past.
Right.
And hopefully anyone that was harmed or assaulted, hopefully they get the justice that they are seeking. But moving forward, I am rooting for this to just be an absolute catastrophe for the Browns, for Watson, maybe a little bit for the Texans. Although I don't know how liable I know you mentioned that earlier. I'm not sure how liable they would be because obviously, or I would imagine, while they knew that he was flying masseuses from all over the place and had a weird thing, I would assume that they never knew the extent of what was going on and that anything illegal was taking place. You would hope. And if
plausible
they did,
deniability.
Exactly. And if they did, it would be extremely hard to prove. But at the same time, the NFL may come down on them too, and they may take draft picks. They may find them. But I'm more curious to see what they do with Deshaun. And I saw on the Pat McAfee show earlier, I can't even remember who was discussing it. He said, I feel bad. I can't remember who was on discussing it, but they had one of their guests was on discussing it, someone very familiar with the NFL. And he said at this point, the way things are going, he could easily see it being at least a year suspension at this point, which I thought this was going to be like a 6 to 8 game thing. The NFL, it's hard to predict what they're going to do. And they often don't come down as hard on players as I think they should. Look at even not comparing things, but you had Myles Garrett literally assault someone on a football field with essentially a weapon, taking a helmet to the head, and nothing like bad happened. But he played football way sooner than I thought he would have. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, you really want to keep out of the game, right? Look at Calvin Ridley. Gambling in his downtime, which regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, he's lost an entire season. And we don't even know when he's going to be back to playing football at this point. So if I look at that and then I say, okay, this is probably pretty serious. But at the same time, the NFL is in a weird spot because he has beaten all criminal charges. And I know that is not the bar for which the NFL punishes. And I know that they're evaluating everything as a whole. But at the same time, it's a fine line of, we want to show that this is not allowed, this is not tolerable, and we want to come at this with a heavy hand. But also, how much can you punish with someone that has technically not been found guilty of anything? I don't envy Roger Goodell's position on this. I don't. This is a difficult thing to do. I would love to see him suspended for a year just because that's part of the process blowing up in Cleveland's face, which is what I'm rooting for selfishly. If he really did sexually assault, and I have no idea if he did. I'm not taking one side or the other, but if he really did sexually assault like 20-some women, he probably shouldn't play. Based on how, not my previous comments about it, if you're not in jail, you should be allowed to play, but based on how the NFL is ran today, based on the standard that we do hold these players to, whether you agree with it or not, if these allegations, even half of them are true, he probably shouldn't play football again. So how do you reconcile that? It's a tough place to be. I think he will play football again. I certainly do. But is he going to get a year suspension? Is it going to be the 6 to 8 games that a lot of people thought in the beginning? Is it going to be a 2-year suspension, which I don't think I've seen in the NFL. I can't recall a time that I can't recall like a 2-year just off the rip for one thing.
No.
Someone got a 2-year suspension. Like, that's very uncommon. So where does the NFL pursue this? And I think if you're looking at, they want to come down with a very heavy hand, what's most likely of that? I think it would be a year suspension, but it would still surprise me at this point because that's a lot.
Is it though? He didn't play the entirety of last year,
but got paid, which still pisses me off.
Got paid. And it just seems as the onion continues to be peeled back, it gets worse and worse for Deshaun Watson. So I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility or even cruel and unusual for them to suspend him for a year. I don't know, just with the circus sideshow that this has been as well, it just seems if you're going to make a statement, you have to get this right if you're Roger Goodell. And to your point, I don't envy him to have to make this decision. Yeah, I don't see. I thought 6 to 8 games was light, truthfully, but I don't know where they come down. It's really hard to even try to predict because of the way that punishments in all of sports, truthfully, it seems as if these commissioners just flip a coin and they're like, heads severe, tails soft. Oh, tails. Oh, 2-game suspension, and you get half pay. So I don't really know. Like, this is not something I would bet on. You know what I'm saying? If
not at all. I wonder if there is a Vegas line on the incoming Deshaun Watson. They might find it too morbid. I don't know.
If there's not a line, then I'm disappointed in Sin City.
You know, it's.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?